Hello, it's Amy with One Mommy Scrapping. I have my third layout for the Secret Not Secret Kit Club for September of 2017. My photograph is from May of this year of a 5K I participated in Myrtle Beach from the Run Like a Diva series. Their colors are hot pink and black, so the kit worked very well with that type of photograph. I have this Bella Boulevard background paper from Fresh Market that I was planning on using. That did change later on. And I had one 6x6 piece of the plaid paper with pink, and then I had the offcut from another page I had done of the cameras, and the heart lace paper, and then I wanted to use the tissue paper that the kit actually came wrapped in. I thought that would be a great way to utilize that. So I went ahead, just trimmed off the branding strip for my 12x12. I save all my branding strips. I keep them in a vase, actually. Show me how many papers I've used over the course of the year. And I'm going ahead and inking all my edges. I don't know where the 6x6 came from. It was from a paper pad, so I'm not sure. And then I have that pink unicorn paper, which I really, really liked. I ended up not using it. It didn't quite fit. The paper you see in the very bottom of on the desk there with the small polka dots is from Glitter Girl. I used the other side for another layout that I did. And I end up using that pink to blue gradient also. I'm just kind of stacking my papers up, trying to decide how I like it. Now, I gotta say, I did this already. I did it before camera, before I started recording, and I'm doing it again. And I'm always trying to figure out my layers. I love to put a lot of different layers. I love a lot of different patterns and how they mix together. I was saying there when I was pointing to the doily, I think that's where my title was going to end up. And it ended up, I did put it there. I'm cutting off the branding strip for the polka dot gradient. And I kind of like this, but it just doesn't feel right. It feels right now like a big mishmash of papers. So I decide to go through my cardstock and find some black cardstock. And I'm kind of wondering how it would look on that. I really want to use the 6x6 piece. And I really want to use all of these different pieces. I think they work well together. It just wasn't quite speaking to me as it was. So I have a second sheet of black just to kind of see what it would look like if I trimmed down the Bella Boulevard paper. And I like that a whole lot better. And I decide I'm going to go ahead and trim some off of the Glitter Girl paper to make the polka dot gradient a little narrower. And then I do, I believe it's a 7-inch piece of the Fresh Market paper from Bella Boulevard. And that on the black background, I think really worked a lot better because you have so many different patterns that giving your eye somewhere to rest on the black, I think worked really well. I ended up trimming, instead of just taking off a 7-inch piece, I trimmed a little bit off the edge so that the pattern kind of bled over the sides. I like it so it goes off the edge a little bit like that. And I could not seem to get this to line up straight on here. So I peel it up, I stack it, I restack it, I end up turning it to the side. I can't remember if you can see my head or not. There, I'm finally getting it. It took me long enough. It still hangs over a little bit at the top. I went back after the video ended and I just trimmed that off with my scissors. So I'm inking the edge and I've got to decide, do I want the pink at the top and the blue at the bottom or vice versa? I decide to go from pink going down to blue because it matches the floor. The backdrop was pink and then we were in a gym doing these, and so the blue on the floor, I thought that worked. I went ahead and I cut my 6x6 paper so I could extend it. It gives the impression that it's actually a larger piece of paper than what it is. I use that a lot. And I'm lining it up along one of the little rows of the patterns at the bottom, or along the middle, so that way it's even on both sides. And then I'm going to lay over the polka dot gradient from Glitter Girl, and for the most part, my large background pieces are now done. I do not usually use a lot of tissue paper in my layouts, but when Christina included this as the just kind of presentation of the kit type thing, I was like, I really wanted to use it. I thought it was pretty. And it just made me happy whenever I looked at it. So I went ahead and decided this would be the perfect layout. It adds a little bit of texture, but it still lets you see the other layers through it. It ends up a lot of it's going to get covered up by the time I'm done. You can see one of those hearts is cut a little crooked. I don't worry about that too much since I know a lot of the hearts are going to end up being covered up. I just kind of want the impression. You really only see those three big ones that are on the right by the time I'm done with it. So it worked out fine for me. I think the photo looks really good on those layers, but it's missing something. And it's, again, what it was like in the beginning. It's starting to feel like it's just all stacked up and there's not too much thought behind it. So I had, I pulled out my box of scraps and decided it needed a mat. And I think I'd used a very thin black border, just enough that you can hardly see it, but it sets the photo off from the rest of it. The photo was a 4x6. I trimmed it down a bit on both directions, so it's not quite 3.5x5, but it's definitely smaller than 4x6 now. And so put it right in the middle because it's a big deal. This race was huge for me. It was the first time I'd participated in a 5K away from my home. I love to do 5Ks. I tend to do them more on my own. I do a lot of virtual races. And I was supposed to go with a friend to this one, and she ended up not being able to come. So I'm away from home doing a 5K with a boot on my foot by myself. It was nerve-wracking. I remember calling my sister on the way going, I think I'm just going to turn around and go home. And she said, don't you dare. So this happened to be the day of the packet pickup, which was the day before the race. So that's what decided what I was going to call it. I was going to call it packet pickup. So I used my black glitter foam thickers from my kit. And this is a font I'd seen before, and I think I actually have it, but it's not one that I particularly liked. But I don't know, the way that it worked with this kit was just remarkable to me. I really, really like this a lot now. And it looks like that P for the word pick is on top of the black cardstock. It's not in person. You can see just a little bit of that pink gingham paper behind it. And it's enough that it doesn't look like it reads like a solid straight across. Now, the word packet, you saw a couple other sets of stickers. I could not find another set of stickers that I really liked with it. I really liked this font, but now it's not going to be, it's too big to fit in the space. So I'm gently trying to peel these letters up because it's October afternoon. I'm not going to have any more of those made anymore. I don't want to waste them. So now I'm going through my alphabets trying to decide. And this one I went back and forth on. And what I didn't like it is that it's cream based and everything else in this picture is white. It's pink, white, and black. And so I'm still searching for something that's going to be small enough to fit in that space, large enough to read as part of a main title and not a subtitle. I found these gold glitter stickers from Studio Calico while I was going through my letters. I don't know how they ended up in there. But I can't find anything that really works well. And I finally decide, you know what? People who are looking at this aren't really looking and going, oh my gosh, she has cream letters with a white base paper. I can't look through this album anymore. I decided no one's going to say that. Who cares? So I do end up going with the mini market stickers. And can we all just agree those are some of the most amazing stickers ever? I wish I had all of them. You can see I went ahead and pulled those Doodlebug Candy Shop ones, but even then I knew they weren't going to fit. And I didn't want a scripty font with, well, the word pickup really isn't scripty. It's scripty enough that I wanted something that would be just very straight. So I went ahead and just said, forget it. I'm going to go with those pink mini markets and move on. And now I'm trying to place some of my embellishments from the kit. I get to use another little heart clip. I was excited about that. I have a lot of those clips, and I never, ever seem to use them. So that was another thing I promised myself I would use these. And I'm going to get to finally use that other pink star, and I'm not going to save it. I'm bad about saving things, and I need to remember not to do that. There's my drawer of adhesives there. So I decided I would do some circular elements on this page with the black baker's twine. because I want to use it. So I decided to put it behind. You'll see eventually 3 main areas where I use that. And the pink acrylic star with the little holographic star glitter inside it is spot number 1. Spot number 2 ends up being this little loved clip. And you can see I get out the pink unicorn paper. This is why I ended up deciding not to use the pink unicorn paper, is because I'm going to use this unicorn die cut, and I didn't want to overdo it. I mean, I love unicorns, but, you know, I don't need unicorns on everything. Then the unicorns aren't special anymore, right? So I'm clipping, or stapling, excuse me, with my Tim Holtz mini stapler. You end up not seeing the staples at all, so I'm just using it to hold it together. And I just love that. I just love how that turned out. I thought it was so cute. Get some more of my baker's twine, and I'm going to put it up in the top left corner. And originally I'm thinking I wanted to use it with the unicorn, but then the speech bubble I thought worked really well because of the type of story I'm telling for me. And I don't journal on screen, but my journaling, eventually it'll read, I'm looking at it right now, it says, talk about stepping out of my comfort zone. Going to pick up my race packet was nerve-wracking, but ended up being so much fun. All the folks I met were super supportive of me doing the race in a boot. I actually called ahead of time when I found out that I was going to be in a boot. And they said I could definitely participate as long as I thought I could finish it in under an hour. And I did. So you can see I've got my third bit of twine there with the speech bubble. And then I'm putting the unicorn at the bottom. I kept moving it around. I wasn't sure. I really did want it on the other side of the word up. But I thought it did fit well between the word pick and the word up. I thought the unicorn horn where it ended up worked quite well. And since I found those gold glittery stars, I said, hey, let's go ahead and use them. I've got to not hoard my stuff. And the shade of gold matches really, really well with the gold polka dots. And until recently, I wasn't really aware of how many different shades of gold there are. I've got, you know, the brassy golds and the yellowy golds and the golds, and everything's gold, but it's all different shades of gold. So this page has a lot of stars and hearts on it, which kind of speaks to the kind of person I am. I love stars, but I love hearts, and I loved doing this race, and I felt like a star, so I'm like, you know what, I'm putting both the motifs on there. I don't really care. And my daughter really liked the little heart on the unicorn there. She's like, it's a little clip holding back its mane. I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's a great way to put it. So I'm trying to fit in that little tab from Bella Boulevard, and I couldn't. There's a little something on the photograph. I was trying to get it off there a moment ago. And honestly, this is it. Here's my layout. All done. I just need to do the writing, and I'm finished. Have a great day. Bye.